All right, welcome to a new episode of Talking Shizzle, where we talk all sorts of shizzle when it comes to marketing and entrepreneurship and growing a business. And I'm excited to talk today to Mallory Green. What's up, Mallory?
Hello, what's going on, Taylor?
Good. It's a Friday, so
Yeah.
that's good. I saw before we started recording, you showed me your puppy. You got a new dachshund. I found out that we're both dachshund lovers. I've got a dachshund. You've got multiple dachshunds. So, I'm
Yeah.
feeling good about this.
This is gonna be a fun day. I can already feel it.
This is
Anybody who has a doxy, I'm just honestly drawn to them. I'm like, we just get it. We understand each other.
yeah, I see you. So this episode's going to be even better than I ever expected. So Mallory, you started Rain's Marketing, and you've been in the marketing game for a while. You started your agency to really help build brands and, as you call it, scroll stopping content on social media for hotel brands, travel brands, and you work a lot in the influencer marketing space. You started your own podcast called We Travel, which I love because it's French. It's like a play on the French word of we, like yes to travel. It's clever.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to talk today with you about, tell me about the world of hotel branding and marketing and working with influencers. That is not something that I do or we do. And so I'm always fascinated to talk to people who do marketing in other arenas than myself. And what's it like? What's a day in the life of that like?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like this is really repetitive with what other people say, but each day is never the same.
Yeah.
Um, so from content creation to working with these hotels, like last week we went to a new boutique property here in San Diego, the Boardwalk Hotel, steps away from both the Mission Bay and then the Pacific Ocean. So you have these two bodies of water. You can go kayaking in one, you can go stand-up paddleboarding, surfing, swimming, whatever in the other. And we were there from 8 a.m. to 12, just shooting different styles of content. We had the models, all those fun things. And that ties back to the influencer marketing side, right? Constantly getting engaging, fun, like you said, scroll stopping content. You have to have these influencers who understand flexibility and can capture the content that you visualize for the property, that the team visualizes for their social media channels, and what they visualize for their own page, right? So it all has to align and fit in within all those different, I want to say landscapes and content types. And so playing around with those two things, getting the content, making sure the influencer, the collaboration all aligns, and then at the end, getting that scroll stopping content on everyone's feeds and pages and having it go viral. That is the creme of the creme, what we really go after. And while that sounds like everything goes to plan, and it's a dream, and it's a great photo shoot and video shoot, it's weeks and weeks and weeks on top of planning behind the scenes that goes into that. So that's just one day, but that was weeks of planning before that, and then sourcing the influencers and making sure the deliverables were all met and the contracts were all signed and everybody was happy. But we do about 3 or 4 of those a month, so at different locations all over the country.
So you probably just spend your days traveling around a lot. You're probably on site most of the time, right?
I dedicate myself to all the local properties within California just because I have 2 small children at home and now a puppy and another dog and husband. Can't forget about my loving husband. So we have a team now of 6 or 7 that I can say, hey, can we plan for next month? We're going to Colorado. Can you just pack up your drone photography to get those aerial shots that we need for this one campaign that they're hosting in October to showcase the new wedding veranda, or so on and so forth. So we make sure that everyone's schedules are compatible with that freedom to travel whenever that they can. So that way I can always know in advance who's available to go to what property. And we make sure it all aligns with what the property team client wants.
That's cool. Hey, if you ever need a protege, I'm happy to be your intern.
Yeah.
If you ever need some extra hands on a shoot.
You've probably been on photo shoots. It is so fun, but it was so fast paced. You're
I bet.
Oh my gosh. It's
so
fun.
I bet it's really different. That's why I think it's fascinating to think about, because we work with a lot of our stuff is more digitally focused, like in terms of like we're on Zooms and we're working with a lot of B2B brands and nonprofit organizations, small businesses. And so it's not so much like going on site all the time and being in the weeds of it. And I think it just sounds probably really, really fun, but also really like stressful in some ways. I'm sure kind of much like event planning. It's probably like there's probably a lot of shit shows
Oh
too,
yeah,
where you're like, oh, everything went wrong today.
there's some stories. We put out fires. Luckily enough, though, the event team, like the sales and catering team that's always on property, they usually do like a BEO, banquet of events order form, as like our photo and video shoot. So everyone on property knows exactly what's happening at all times. But yes, humans, obviously, we make mistakes. There's errors. One time we were at a shoot and they set up the wrong banquet room, and we had to quickly pivot, exchange rooms. It was like a U-shaped layout. We needed rounds for an actual like wedding event space, and it was set up as like a meeting space in the wrong banquet room. So it's just things like that. You have to think on your feet and be super quick. You're like just guzzling coffee all day. You haven't eaten in the last 12 hours and you're just sweating and you're going through different camera gear, change gear, whatever. And it's just fun.
Probably like MacGyver marketing a little bit more,
Yeah.
where you have to be like MacGyver on set and figure out what's I don't know, what's a funny story? What was one of the funny, like, I don't know, what give me one of those crazy stories. Like what was one of the things where you planned everything just perfect and then everything went wrong, and what did you do to get around it and work around it and make the brand still look great?
Yeah. So this is a funny one. It was at a San Diego property, and we had 4 models, and it was for like a recent big wedding catalog. And so we wanted to showcase the various different venues that were on site that the models could like go and take pictures of. Well, one of them didn't show up, so we made it we made it work, but it was more of like I don't want to say a throuple. There's just 3 of them. It was 2 brides and a groom, and we made it as if like the bridesmaid was there, also dressed in like a nice wedding dress. It didn't look like the wedding gown, but so it looked like a throuple. It wasn't. We just pivoted. It looked like a bridesmaid kind of wearing a wedding dress, and it was funny. But in the end, like the videos that were captured, like the 2 brides were like doing each other's makeup, and like the groom came over and gave the sister a peck on the cheek and then like kissed the other one romantically, and they were all looking over the veranda, and it was pretty. We had the aerial dronage and stuff, but it did make for a funny story because people like passing by, they're like, are they trying to capture like a threesome wedding?
Yeah.
Like what's going on? But in the end, the editorial feature and everything, it was very tasteful, and it did not look like that. I'm sure.
Did they plan that, or was the bride surprised?
No, it was fine. If they were all models, so it was just
Okay.
our other model didn't show
I
up. So
see.
we just had to
Okay.
like and like make do. I guess we could have had someone on site be like one of the extra grooms and come on board, but we were so busy running around that it just ended up working. The photo still came out great. The client was happy. We still were able to post on our side and make everything look professional and cohesive. It was just interesting from if you were there and looking at it, like, what is happening here? Why?
What are we doing with this
What
one?
am I doing? But it was still a good time. It was just
That's actually a really good story. So one of the things we were talking about was the fact that it seems like a lot of travel marketing feels the same. And again, I'm not in this, but I do see almost like a similar brand vibe when I think about like the travel brands that I scroll through Instagram and look at. How do you stand out? What are some of the things you do to differentiate and make a hotel brand or a travel brand really truly look unique from others?
That's a great question. So I always see those brands and I know exactly the company that's doing their manage it. I'm not going to say it. They're very cookie cutter. They make a lot of stock photography, or they source a lot of stock photography. They're not very cohesive with overall branding, and it just kills the overall vibe and what exactly the hotel is trying to offer and get their guests to come and stay at, because every other page looks the same. Whether it's looking at like a DoubleTree Hilton or a Marriott, like a Courtyard or something like that, like those smaller brands, like 3-star level, 2-star level. And it's really frustrating because each of those independently has something to offer, whether that's like the free breakfast or the pool or the amenities like within the room, or walking to the beach if it's in a tropical place, or to the mountainsides if you're like in Aspen, Colorado. And it just frustrates me that these agencies just think that every one of these branded hotels is the same, because that's absolutely not true. So we come in and we rely heavily on UGC, you know, that already sourced user generated content, or influencers, and how these collaborations to come in, take these reels, carousel posts, stories, whatever it may be. We get full access and usage rights forever for these collaborations, and we utilize them for our next content calendar. So it just kills me that some of these agencies come in and just kill the creative side, totally don't even mention what each of these hotels has to offer, and just has stock littered all over these social feeds. No one wants to see that. No, that's not scroll stopping content. That's just someone being lazy and thinking that it applies to all hotels across the board. And it truly doesn't. And it just is going to hurt them in the long run. So I've been very vocal about this on the Reigns marketing side. I send DMs like no other to these brands, whether these DoubleTree Hilton or the Courtyard Marriotts or whatever. And I'm like, hey, we're here. Look at our stuff. I send them our portfolio. Like, we can help differentiate what you already have. We really focus in on what makes you unique, your property, rave about all your guest reviews. Like, people love to see what other people are saying. People get FOMO. And we really hone in on fear of missing out and making that the number one thing, that when people are on social media, they're like, I want to go there. I'm going to stop what I'm doing, grab my laptop, book a flight, and go stay there, because that woman just looks like she had the time of her life, and I want to feel that way. Like, we want it to evoke emotion.
I love it. Do you focus mostly on like hotel brands? Are there other travel brands or types of travel brands that you're focused on, or is it primarily hotels?
Primarily hotels. Hotels and resorts located across the country. I would love to work with travel groups like Media and Amadeus and different kind of like revenue focused groups. But for the most part, since we are B2B, I think we're going to just stay and focus in our lane at this point in time, and make the client happy with getting their social media feeds and making those booking conversions happen on that side. But I'd love to branch off into like Travel and Tourism Authority here in San Diego, or Visit California, like doing those huge brand partnerships with something that holds, just that would be really amazing to work with.
Yeah. I got a totally random question. When you travel, hotel or Airbnb?
Hotel.
Yeah. Me too. I like Airbnb so much.
I love like the whole Airbnb style in like Europe or somewhere else abroad, but I'm not going to go stay in someone's home when I can just go stay at like a fun hotel and get room service and, you know, the whole
there's a bar, like when you run out of toilet paper, you just go down the front desk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have enough of my home here on my plate. So yeah.
But I love hotels. Like, I love traveling around and going to different hotels and seeing how they're all different. And I love the consistency that hotels bring to the travel experience, especially if you get into like a brand and you kind of know what to expect with certain brands. That's one of the things that I enjoy about hotels personally over like Airbnb, even though it's funny. I used to manage Airbnb, but like never actually would stay at an Airbnb.
Okay. How was the management? Like
managing it was fine. I mean, we had a property manager that helped us with like cleaning crew and bookings and everything like that. So it was pretty hands off. And to be honest, like it was kind of a cool experience to figure out like how to make an Airbnb experience like a hotel experience. So that was the sort of thing that I thought about as the property owner, to like bring the hotel experience to Airbnb, because that's where I think a lot of Airbnb stuff goes wrong, It's like it's inconsistent, and a lot of people, they just, like, don't do those little fine touches that you get at a hotel. So that's like, this is totally off topic of what we're going to talk about, but I think it's always
No,
interesting
it's
to
not.
ask people, especially since you are in this space.
Yeah, no, I honestly think that's great that you made it so like a hotel because like you said, people expect things from hotel brands and it's that
Yeah.
that acts of service. I think that's what really makes a difference. So like if you had an amenity or like, a stocked fridge when they arrived, not
Yeah.
like with food, but like with beers or wine or whatever their favorite drink is, like I think that would add so much more and for your ratings too on
Yeah.
Airbnb.
Exactly. You know what the biggest thing is that a lot of people don't do right is they don't put enough like plugs to plug people's phones in. You should just have
Oh,
a lot of USB ports all throughout the
yeah.
house or the apartment or whatever it is, and that's something the hotels get it right. Like,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
in the little bedside tables, and they're kinda all throughout, and there's plenty of them, and Airbnb people, like, they just don't do it.
They just don't get it.
They don't
We're
think
all
about it.
connected to the technology. They just need to add more wall outlets. Airbnb, come on, guys, do
Yeah,
better.
exactly. So if you ever have a hotel that's, like, struggling up against Airbnb, like, market
Yeah.
the phone charging
Chargers.
capabilities. That is
That's
like a big deal.
Oh my god. Hilarious.
Okay, I wanna hear from you what it's like working with influencers and, like, building collaborations. How do you start a collaboration with an influencer? Like, take me from, like, 0 to 60 when it comes to working with influencers.
Yeah, no, for sure. We have a whole funnel system. So we manage 11 different hotel brands right now. And every time, because people do, they DM, they say, hey, can I come stay with you for 2 nights in exchange for so and so kind of content? And we don't respond we respond via
Mhm,
DM, but we're not talking there. I send them a link to our website,
mhm,
rangemarketing.com, and then I do /influencers. And it's this whole intake form. They have to tell me their TikTok, Instagram, Facebook handles, their audience, total audience, their engagement rate, their most recent travel resort hotel reels, link them there, as well as impressions and all that from those links. And then they have to consent to be on my email list and also consent to sending, if they were to stay, the analytics from their posts, their carousels,
mhm,
and their stories. And so even before I'm even talking to them, everything has already been signed. There's some kind of
mhm.
contract in place, and they know exactly the deliverables because they have to check mark at least 5 out of 7 deliverables. And
Mhm.
they know it's a gifted exchange. It's non-paid. So I love that because
Yeah.
that comes directly to my inbox, and then I get to reach out to them after all the boxes are ticked to see if it makes sense for them to come and stay at one of our brands.
Mm.
So it's a very organized fashion. And if I get excited about like their stats and their analytics and stuff like that, I go and vet them and make sure that what they're saying is true. Because people love to fluff up their stats and make themselves look a little bit better, inflate their ego. There we go.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't align, I immediately delete it because I don't like to work with, phony people. But if everything looks right, all the boxes are checked, then I have my team reach out to them and we set up a call with them and the property team. And then if that all checks out, we send over the deliverables, get the dates in place, make sure, not the deliverables, we send over the contract, make sure the dates and reservations are all set. If they're getting like a spa massage, a restaurant reservation, I'll call to those places directly. And if there's comped parking, we throw in a free amenity and stuff like that, making sure everything's wrapped up in a nice, pretty bow. And they come and stay, take all the content. They hopefully enjoy their stay, write a good review, and then put up all the deliverables on social
Yeah.
media, tagging us.
Cool. And how do they find you? So I think this is applicable to whatever kind of brand you are if you're thinking about influencer collaborations. Like, how do they even find you? Are you running ads to influencers or what? Or it's word of mouth or y'all just have really hot social media?
Yep. If they come on to one of our clients' social media sites and they want to come work with us, they usually send that DM or they somehow find I guess they can contact on my Rain's marketing website, the contact us page, but they'll look and see that we've already worked with other influencers who are tagged on our
Yeah.
Instagram page or like the UGC and everything. And they're like, I want to go stay at that property. That looks cool. And then they'll DM one of those accounts. And then one of my VAs or whoever will respond with that link to the Reigns Marketing /influencers. So then they have to go and click that and fill it out before I even ever take a picture. So I don't know how many inquiries we get, honestly. I just know once they fill it out, it comes directly to my email inbox, and then I go and vet them if everything checks out on the boxes. It's actually the only thing I do for free. Everything else I put dollars behind when it comes to marketing. So I'm kind of enjoying. It's like a win-win. I mean, I charge my clients an influencer marketing fee. I don't pay anything behind it to get to it. I don't need to pay a service, an agency to go and find the influencer, because it's all like incoming. That's and cool. Like I'm not doing any outbound reach.
I was wondering, what's the balance between like how many influencers are coming to you versus do you go seek out certain influencers?
Yeah, so I will backpedal a little bit. If like there's a Morgan Wallen concert coming to Denver and the 3 of our properties like want a country influencer to come and stay to go to the Morgan Wallen concert, I will reach out to someone in Nashville and be like, hey, are you going to the Morgan Wallen concert in Denver? I don't know why you would, but come and stay at our hotel for free in exchange for getting up a carousel post. And they're like, cool, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. So if it's just specialty events or things that they want to, inflate when it comes to big downtown civic center activity, that's always like the biggest influencer I try to find. Or like the Astros were in the World Series, I think in like 2021, 2022. And we had a previous baseball player from like years and years and years ago come and stay at one of our Houston hotels during that time. And he posted this reel. It like basically went viral and we got so many interested bookings like the following month when it was series. And the hotel was sold out, unfortunately, but still like it's proof that when you have the right person and it's the right fit for both parties and the content is great, you're going to get the results that they want.
Yeah, cool. What's like the ROI like on influencer content versus paid ads? Do you look at that?
This is like the hardest thing because it's so hard to track unless you're giving them a specific booking link that they then use in like their stories and their audience can click on and you can see like the clicks and the CTR generated through that. All of these hotels I work with are branded and they don't have vanity sites. So all the branded sites, I can't go and make different UTMs and trackings for. So it makes influencer marketing so hard to track. If you're working with boutique hotels and there's no brand on top of it and they all have their own vanity sites, you can make little bit.ly links and put in your stories and upload through Canva and all of that stuff. Great. But the majority of these are run through Marriott or Hilton. And they have obviously their revenue managers who keep in track of all of that. So we had to get really crafty in ways that we can track influencer marketing. And that all comes back to shares. So even though there's no way to track the actual ROI, if something gets 7,000 shares, that's a really good piece of content. And that's going to be played over and over and over again. And so I make sure that we get like the full usage rights for that. So that way every year we can, if it was for an event or if it was for like someone's wedding, and we can say, congratulations on your 1-year anniversary, repost the video. It's going to get some more shares, maybe change up the audio each year. So that way it's always trending. But that's what I look at. I'm like, that's a gold mine for reusing content because in the end, no one's going to see everything you ever post. You can go back a few years and something that did really well, you can bring up to the surface again, just tweak a few changes. Maybe you can get rid of transitions because we don't like transitions anymore and change up the audio and make it into like a more cohesive reel for today's standards. And that will probably go off like that. So it's just creative in that way, but I would say it's easier to track the ROI for the paid ads and make the client like see the actual numbers. I just have to get really nifty in how I explain it.
It's like that in podcast marketing. Like that's something that I've struggled with. It's funny. It's like I always think of like, but the leads. And then there's certain things in marketing like this where you're like, can't tell you the exact person,
Right.
but look at like how many people saw it, you know?
So
And
it's
so,
right? It
yeah.
comes to relationships. So if these influencers were great, we just had one. I'll go into one of my examples. We had one stay in Houston in April, and her content was amazing. She reposted something on TikTok from Instagram, and that went viral. So we got
Mm,
so many inquiries for our Houston property that the sister property in Denver wanted her to go there. So then she went there,
mm,
and we had her last week, 2 weeks
mhm.
ago, beginning of July. And already she reposted that same thing. She made a video on Instagram, did really well. So she reposted it on TikTok. Not that we have TikTok for any of our accounts,
Uh-huh.
but that overall exposure has helped tremendously, especially with the
Yeah.
market right now in Denver, the market anywhere across the board. So it's just it's who you work with, and if you want to work with them again because they were so great at one of these other properties, that's the magic. So I can keep her in my
Mm,
back pocket for like future collaborations and stuff.
cool, cool. I was gonna ask you Instagram or TikTok.
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, why?
It's it's I don't want to say easier,
Hmm.
but I know the majority of Gen Z is on TikTok, but hotels honestly are like 30 to
Yeah,
like plus.
yeah.
So anyone's demographic, regardless if I'm working like for a trendy boutique hotel, whatever it may be, no one's like, oh yeah, 18 to 21. Like, no, their target audience starts at like
Mm,
30, even to 35, and
yeah.
majority of it's like families, and they're catering to like I have a couple of properties in Napa. So obviously it's 21
Uh,
plus, it's more elevated. So you want like the median, income to be at a certain rate, and that just isn't happening at the Gen Z level.
yeah, it's more like millennials and older
Right.
millennials.
We
Yeah.
millennials are jam, and I feel
Mhm.
like a lot of millennials are still utilizing, Instagram,
Yeah.
uh, and honestly, TikTok takes so much time.
Okay, yeah, tell me about that because 'cause we're literally just about to get on TikTok. I just have
Oh,
to
that's
put
exciting.
TikTok on my phone, and, I don't, like, know what to do with it. I get all these notifications now, and I'm like, "What is this?"
I
You
know.
know? It seems
A lot of
like it's really yeah, even just opening up the app immediately, it's like, with, like, sound and noise, and
the
it's, like,
biggest
way more disrespectful than Instagram.
it's all in your face. No,
It's
it's the
really in your face.
the biggest thing that people do is go on these lives on TikTok,
Yeah,
I think it's called TikTok Live, and they sit there and they make so much money,
I
whether they're like
know
talking
that.
about relationship advice or they're trying to sell something. And so it's more like generated towards Gen Z, and they're all over the world. And people can like send them gifts and like little
Yeah,
payouts, little hearts. And if they say like, oh, thanks, JJW23Y, like that was so great, then they get even more engagement and money and likes. So
okay.
it's not something that a hotel can just come on board and we're like, oh yeah, like come and stay at our hotel. It just doesn't align. It doesn't align
Doesn't
with what we're trying to sell and do. So I've
yeah.
told this. I'm like, listen, guys, TikTok isn't really generated for our target market right now. Maybe in like a year or two. TikTok is just very different right now, and I we spend so much time on content and production and getting those photo and video shoots happening. I love going on a feed and making it look curated and just beautiful. And if you ever go to like the Beverly Hills Hotel, does it the best.
Yeah.
I was there a couple weeks ago. I'm like, dang, everything is like to the T, from their branding to like the experience, the arrival, like even getting there is a treat. You're just like, this is so beautiful. You're in Beverly Hills. And then you walk out and like, here's a glass of champagne. You're like, oh my gosh, like I feel like a queen. I'm just some random person. But they make sure every person entering feels like a celebrity, even if they're not.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to embody that on a platform that doesn't put that first. Instagram puts that
Yeah.
first, TikTok doesn't.
Yeah, I was sitting out on my front porch over the weekend last weekend and was like, "Okay, I'm gonna, like, scroll through TikTok."
Oh
And I'm
no.
scrolling through because I'm literally just like, "What is this world going to be?" And my takeaway was that See, I was born in the 80s and really grew up in the 80s and 90s
Yeah.
when we had a lot of infomercials
Mm.
on TV. And my takeaway is that a lot of these lives, they were like they reminded me of the Ronco food dehydrator guy that I used to see as a child and be like, "Mom, we should get a food dehydrator. It can dehydrate all of our strawberries, and, I can make beef jerky."
Yeah.
And it's funny because then, like, I'm seeing all of these, and I remember, like, Suzanne Summers and what was the Thigh Master.
Oh
I'm
my God.
seeing
Yeah.
TikTok lives as the new infomercial. There are all these women doing these lives selling all these like little exercise machines that I've never heard of. And then I'm like, of course, my next step is like, let me find out what this thing is on Amazon. Maybe I need this. This could be kind of cool. And then I'm like, what rabbit hole am I going down?
Exactly.
You know, I
That's
could
how they get you. You're like,
that's how
TikTok
I get
made me
you.
buy it. That's a little
Yeah.
hashtag. Hashtag TikTok made me buy it.
Yeah.
Because
So
you didn't know these things before going on, and then suddenly now you're like,
no
wow,
idea.
what
It's
is rebounding? What is this tiny little trampoline I should be on every single day, bouncing up and down?
Oh,
Yeah.
rebounding. Did you know? Are you not rebounding? If you
Not
aren't, your
rebounding.
lymphatic system might be getting jacked up. Just want you to know that.
My lymphatic drainage isn't happening without rebounding. I need to get
Yeah,
one.
I know. So, okay, so that makes sense. Instagram is more like you're in a space where like you're working with elevated brands. Your target audience is more on Instagram. What about Facebook? Are you kind of like what are your other top channels? Is Instagram number one?
Instagram's number one for sure. Facebook, we kind of just monitor the page. We'll like post things here and there. Anytime we do a reel, we make the reel go onto Facebook as well, just because the two
Yeah,
are connected. And then since I run all the paid social, if a reel's doing well on Instagram, I'll put dollars behind it through Meta, and then it also
yeah,
goes onto Facebook and stuff. Since it's all the same company, so it's all
yeah,
controlled with the ad accounts and stuff on Meta. But I do have someone who's like, "Can we get on TikTok?" And it's kind of killing me because
Mhm.
I'm curious to see if it would work because it's more of a trendy boutique hotel, so it's not branded. But at the
Uh-huh.
same time, like, oh my gosh, what can of worms am I gonna open? Like, is this gonna like take
Yeah,
over like my whole life? Am I gonna be like, why did I say yes to this? Like,
you might. You might.
yeah,
We'll send them this episode to listen to when we release it. No.
you're right. Like,
What about Reddit? Do you do anything on Reddit?
don't do anything on Reddit. Don't do anything. I do stuff on LinkedIn. So
You
some of
do?
the
Okay,
clients
I was
like
gonna ask.
for yeah. So LinkedIn is great. Especially from the hotel management side of things, because obviously they want their people to feel connected while working there and like sharing the behind the scenes. People love also on social seeing like employee appreciation day, seeing
Mhm.
that we're not just like showcasing events and things happening at the hotel, but we're also taking the time to thank their people. It's not my hotel, but
Yeah,
it's that sense of that connection, and people feel like they belong when they feel celebrated and that kind
yeah.
of thing. So LinkedIn's big, kind of Facebook, and then Instagram, and then we're trying to start to play in Pinterest.
Pinterest. Okay. I was wondering if there was anything else because I'm kind of thinking through like threads, who cares? X,
Oh,
not
go for it.
probably the target audience. I was curious about LinkedIn. What was the other one I was thinking about? I asked you about Reddit. A Blue Sky, probably also irrelevant.
Invite only. I,
Yeah. But Pinterest makes sense.
Pinterest, yeah, because these influencer campaigns, if they go well, then we put it on the hotel page and people come and see that. And again, Pinterest is a giant search engine. It's less social media and more just searching that next trip. If you type like next trip to or planning a trip to Belize or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
all the photos and stuff are going to pop up. And the more FOMO, again, evoking that emotion of like you want to go stay there right now, like that's what I'm trying to build on this Pinterest page
Yeah.
and get people to just book that next destination.
What about what's the travel blog thing? I'm totally drawing a blank. When you research, like, top 10 things to do in the Outer Banks.
TripAdvisor.
TripAdvisor, yeah. Do you guys do y'all do anything around TripAdvisor and influencer blogs or posts on that platform?
Nothing with TripAdvisor itself because the hotel actually has their own budget with TripAdvisor. Every hotel is
Mm,
invited to advertise with them. So as an agency, we wouldn't do that since we're not like representing the hotel directly. But we honestly ask the influencers to, yes, write a TripAdvisor review because that just goes on their page,
yeah.
brings them more to that number one spot, which everyone's trying to get to. But they do have to say gifted. And a lot of
Mm,
people, that's a turn off,
mm,
we're authentic. I don't know about you. Are you ever on Amazon and if you're looking at the reviews or like Sephora or like for makeup,
yeah,
and the minute it says gifted collaboration or partnership, I'm like, oh, you don't count.
yeah, I agree. I don't believe anything.
I'm like, you got
Really.
paid, you got the free get thing. Like, you're not gonna tell me what I want to hear.
Yeah. I mean, I kinda don't even believe any reviews now on Amazon. I'm like, there's so many bots, and I just like I try to so I really look for like like number of reviews up and like I do very fancy math when I'm thinking about like the number of reviews and the stars and the percentage difference and
You
whatever.
have to. You can't
Yeah.
trust what you see on the internet.
Yeah, you like I really believe nothing now.
Yeah.
Um so okay, cool. Well, this has been really awesome. I think I've run out of questions for now.
Wow.
I appreciate your time. Is there one sort of last thing that you would tell someone who maybe is aspiring to get into the world of hotel branding and marketing and scroll stopping content? What do you wish your younger self knew?
Don't be afraid of what other people think. Block out the noise.
Mm,
Honestly, like I was so afraid of what I was doing in the beginning that I found myself like limiting what I could do versus just saying like yes, yes, yes to everything and getting that exposure and like gaining more confidence. I was just like, no one knows me. I just started. Who's gonna even hire me? Like it's just that negative self-talk and being too afraid to just go with it and see what happens.
yeah.
It left me having that like I know it's a buzzword, imposter syndrome feeling.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? Why do I think I can do this? And I think that just takes away from what you're trying to accomplish, which is you're trying to grow, you're trying to learn, and I opened up this agency after having like 5 years of experience in the hotel marketing world in social media. And at a time when social media is thriving and booming, it was
Mm,
2021. And I just felt myself being limited by my negative self-talk and not asking people for more help. So if I could tell my younger self, go and ask for more help. It's okay to say, I don't know, but go and find the answer and just practice confidence because it's obviously something you have to keep practicing and mustering up the courage to find it because I wasn't someone born with confidence. I had to go find it, learn from it, and then over time build that expertise and knowledge.
this made me think of a final question, actually. Final question. What do you think is going to happen in the world of social media? Like, where do you think social media is going with AI and AI influencers? We didn't even open up that whole can of worms, but that your response made me think about that.
Yeah, so I actually just got on in video, which is all AI. It's a platform
Yeah.
where it creates those videos for you. Like
Yeah.
you type in a script,
In
and
video, what's the website?
yeah, it's in
Mhm.
video, INVIDEO.io.
Okay.
And it just creates the most lifelike, amazing quality reels and videos that you can then showcase for hotels and resorts. Because if we can't make it to like the Bahamas because it's like, inclement weather or whatever, we can create these awesome videos and they're so lifelike. It's so beautiful. And then like put that on the page and it
Mhm.
looks like an influencer made it. And
Mhm.
that's when the AI influencer thing comes in. But right now we're also in the power of de-influencing, and people are so against being influenced by anything. So it's a tumultuous time, I feel like, to be a content creator. You just have to be careful with the brands and collaborations you work with and what you say online. Because again, what you say online stays there forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. That's your closing statement there, everybody.
Don't put out pictures you're not going to want on later.
Yeah, be careful out there, folks.
It's a dog world.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of scary. Well, Mallory, this has been a pleasure. I've really had a lot of fun. I've learned a lot. I love talking to other marketers who do stuff completely different than what I do because I get to learn so much, and I know this will bring some new insights to our audience. So, if people want to find you, get in touch. What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, they can go to rainsmarketing.com for our agency. Instagram, it's OUI Travel Podcast. And then my own personal account is Mallory Heather Green. If you just want to go and say hi, I'll say hi back.
All right, send Mallory a DM. And until next time, go get your good shizzle done, people.